Hi, it's Kathy from Nothing So Strange, and welcome back if you've been here before, and if this is your first time, welcome. I just thought I'd kind of ramble about today. Back, I guess, a month ago when I did my daisy chain video, I was noticing ideas and keywords and archetypes that show up a great deal in my Oracle decks. And I said I'd come back and talk about some of them. And finally, I have a moment to do that. I wanted to talk about curiosity today, which showed up in cards in a few of my oracles and then shows up as keywords and definitions in other places. I'll get into it. Um, Curiosity. I was thinking, should I talk about curiosity and imagination? And then I realized, well, I think you can't necessarily have one without the other. These are two separate concepts, and there are distinctions between them. So today I'm just talking about curiosity. I went looking around to see what tarot cards different people associate with curiosity, and it was interesting to me. I thought for sure I'd find lots of people saying the Fool was a card associated with curiosity because he's about to potentially wander off that cliff. He's off on a journey. He's about beginnings and fresh starts. But I really couldn't find a strong association, in at least where I was looking, with the Fool and curiosity. I found that, well, curious. And if anybody knows of any decks that specifically say the Fool, curiosity, or something, I'd be interested to know what they are. I just couldn't turn anything up. So curiosity. I do apologize for the traffic sounds you're going to hear. It's the breaks of living in the city and having the windows open on a beautiful day. Different ideas that sort of overlapped with curiosity. Restlessness, taking a leap into the unknown, hope, wanderlust. I found some people associating courage with curiosity, just poking around. But when I look at the tarot, the thing that strikes me is, first of all, the Page of Wands, the Page of Cups were both connected with curiosity, although not by weight specifically. He didn't use that word. And even my absolute favorite, my absolute tarot Bible here, the 78 Degrees of Wisdom, Rachel Pollack doesn't use the word curiosity about the pages. It's interesting that if we connect these two cards specifically with curiosity, that the tarot associates curiosity with youth. And as many cards in the tarot talk about turning inwards and self-exploration and exploration of the world and whatnot, the concept of curiosity seems like not connected to the moon or the high priestess or the hanged man. And so that association of curious, or being curious with youth, but self-exploration being something completely different, just struck me. I thought it was interesting. Now, it is interesting that just poking around online, I saw some people saying, oh, Page of Wands, he's curiosity because he's interested in messages and fresh ideas. And oh no, the Page of Cups is the card of curiosity because he's got the fish of his imagination looking back at him. I looked at a couple other decks to see what other artists found. Here's one of my faves, Goblins and Gardens. And in Goblins and Gardens, the Page of Wands is not connected with curiosity, but the Page of Cups is. And is that focusing? This is such tiny print. If you haven't seen this deck, it's Dungeons and Dragons monsters collaged into garden catalogs. It's really fabulous. So Here's our curiosity, which is definitely an active page and associated with wonder. I found the opposite in Bonefire Tarot, second edition. This guidebook is just fabulous if you don't have it. But here, the Page of Cups, emotional high, unexpected lift, power and beauty of nature, take the plunge, realization of life's purpose. But we don't get curiosity there. We get curiosity with the Page of Wands. Curiosity, young, inquiring mind, youthful enthusiasm for task, refreshing lack of cynicism. So, interesting. Just something to think about, the association with youth and the association of curiosity, sometimes with the passion and fire of wands, and sometimes more with the emotional readiness of cups. Poking through the roses, dust, and ashes, which I see, this reappears a great deal. Once a year, I see it wave through Tarot Land. Such a good deck, but it's one of the decks I found that had curiosity as a card, a separate card. And this is interesting because the write-up here talks about curiosity linked to books. Old books on gravestones. It's beautiful. And get this out of the way. That's the deck. The write-up here is talking about life story written as a book, and journey and reflection and inquiry. And down here at the bottom, we really get into curiosity as deeper understanding and appreciation for life's mysteries. Through your curiosity, a whole new world of possibilities will open up to you. In order to take advantage of these opportunities, you must take risks and embrace change with an open heart. And so a lot of the write-up about this card, curiosity, is a bit static. At the end, she says, take risks. But there is that feeling of stasis. I was wondering, does that show up elsewhere? Oracle of Mystical Moments, which doesn't have cards named curiosity, but has curiosity as keywords for cards, has the journey as curiosity. Young girl gently rides a deer. They're having fun, adventure, playful, and curious. Sometimes we get so caught up in the destination, we forget to appreciate the journey. But if we neglect the little things on our path, like soft grass under our feet or the unconditional love of an animal, we're missing out on precious moments. Curiosity shows up also as a keyword for butterfly garden. Curiosity, discovery, small moments in life. A woman holds a blooming flower in her hand as she gazes toward the sky. On her head sits a butterfly, closely examining the purple petals. Enjoying the situation, the woman stands still and quietly soaks in her surroundings. She does not want to disturb the scene. In our daily life, there are so many possible moments that could be precious if we would just take the time to notice them. Be mindful of your surroundings and pay attention. Ask, why is that there? Then make connections. Small observations can lead to great discoveries. And so, two different cards that say curiosity. And this one, it's really more static. You're sitting there looking at a butterfly, asking yourself the deep questions. This one, called the journey. It's still a very gentle journey. She's gently riding a deer. But it's more of an active quest. And I'm making that distinction because sometimes when we see curiosity show up, it's much more active. Curiosity with the Urban Crow Oracle is this crow wandering into the house to see what's up. There's an open doorway. What'll happen if I walk in that doorway? Crows tend to be notorious about taking chances, taking risks, just, poking the bear just to see what will happen. And that's a much more curiosity tied to more activity, more wanderlust, more restlessness, more, not even having a point. Just saying, what if? What if I walk in this house? What if I poke this bear? If you've seen the famous picture online of the crow sneaking up behind some large cat, like a lion or something, to pinch its tail. Crows are like that. Just what will happen? And they also have this great sense of joy that I don't think we've seen in the other cards yet, that I associate with curiosity and wanting to find things out. The Southern Gothic for the raccoon card says curiosity. Southern Gothic Oracle. No, that kind of cracks me up. The write-up is good. Raccoons are problem solvers. These masked critters are notorious for their intelligence and determination. Unlike so many other species threatened by the sprawl of cities, raccoons have thoroughly adapted to human settlements, learning to find nutrition in our garbage and shelter in our outbuildings. Consider this. People used to think raccoons wash their hands before eating. This, it turns out, isn't true. But they do douse their forepaws in water to increase or heighten their sensitivity to touch receptors. Dowsing in Southern culture is a form of divination for finding resources such as water. When you draw the raccoon card, perhaps it is a challenge for you to summon your best ideas in order to persevere. Is there a situation in your life that requires you to adapt, perhaps even break the rules? This little omnivore knows how to make the best of a dire situation, thriving in the most barren of environments. Will you be so clever? And so there, unlike the crow who's just like, hey, what's up? The raccoon is being curious in order to survive. I think it's a good choice here. We had a raccoon living on our rooftop deck. Was it last winter? Winter before last. He found the dog bed that we put out there that was wrapped up in trash bags, getting ready to be tossed off the roof and thrown in the trash. And he was kind of like, what's in this contractor grade garbage bag? And tunneled his way in and was like, oh my gosh. It's a completely stinky, about to be thrown out. I think LLB, and it was really nice memory foam dog bed that somebody gave us. But he just tunneled in there and made a nice little nest for himself, So curiosity, I think a lot of animals wouldn't have thought to shred inside the garbage bag. And perseverance, he was really well hidden. We knew there was a raccoon up there somewhere, but it took us like a couple weeks to figure out where he was hiding. And at that point, he was kind of cute about it, so he got to stay there all winter. So anyway, yeah, we have these active and static versions of curiosity. We have curiosity for its own sake. We have curiosity to survive. We have curiosity not to miss the small things in life. Curiosity is a way of thinking about the life journey. The Archaeo, I adore this, has different archetypes. And here's the moon cat. And the moon cat's attributes, it's driven by curiosity and intuition. This is the first time I see curiosity hooked up to intuition. What else does it talk about? Perception, alternate byways. We have dancing, freedom, enigmatic, unpredictable, far from irrational. And so cats are always hooked up with curiosity, and they are erratic, but there is a reason for what they do. And they, like the raccoons, are just what if animals. Those who walk in moonlight are unrestricted by convention. They do not suffer obligation and are not constricted by any notion of a contrived formality. Instead, they choose their empire's shadows where no cold-hearted human god demands servitude. Patrols all corners of the earth. Cats have listened to a different drum. And so, cats, along with raccoons, I think, are emblematic of curiosity. Which brings me to the last thing I wanted to talk about. Not a card at all, but a poem I've loved since high school, Curiosity, which is by, Alistair Reid. So I'm going to read this to you because I like it. And that'll be the video. Curiosity may have killed the cat. More likely, the cat was just unlucky, or else curious to see what death was like, having no cause to go on licking paws or fathering litter on litter of kittens predictably. Nevertheless, to be curious is dangerous enough. To distrust what is always said, what seems, to ask old questions, interfere in dreams, leave home, smell rats, have hunches. Do not endear cats to those doggy circles where well-smelt baskets, suitable wives, good lunches are the order of things, and where prevails much wagging of incurious heads and tails. Face it, curiosity will not cause us to die, only lack of it will. Never to want to see the other side of the hill, or that improbable country where living is an idyll, although a probable hell, would kill us all. Only the curious have, if they live, a tale worth telling at all. Dogs say cats love too much, are irresponsible, are changeable, marry too many wives, desert their children, chill all dinner tables with their tales of their 9 lives. Well, they are lucky. Let them be 9-lived and contradictory, curious enough to change, prepared to pay the cat rice, which is to die and die again and again, each time with no less pain. A cat minority of 1 is all that can be counted on to tell the truth. And what cats have to tell on each return from hell is this: that dying is what the living do, that dying is what the loving do, and that dead dogs are those who do not know that dying is what to live each has to do. Thanks for listening, y'all.